So we've been working on the Calypso trying to get this car to hook. So as you can see in the video, we put the Team Z stuff on it. Great. But we needed to check pinion angle just to make sure. Now, I'm not a suspension expert or a guru, but I can tell you how to set up your pinion angle. It's very simple, and I think I have a different outlook on it. So what I'm going to do real quick is put the camera down here on the ground and try my best to show you. I didn't video this because it's just pinion angle stuff, right? But I do want to show you my way to set up pinion angle and do it very easily. First, let's start up here at the engine. People get so caught up on how their engine sits. I understand you want your engine as level as possible. Maybe, I think most people start freaking out if it gets past like 2.5 degrees down. What matters is the relationship between the engine and your drive shaft. If this is 2 degrees down and then your drive shaft is 8 degrees down, that's too much operating angle, right? It's the difference between the two. I really don't have much to say on this. Just don't freak out because your engine's not perfectly flat like your friends. Part of the reason why your engine may not be flat is your suspension setup, because typically they roll to the back, but if you lift the back of the car up, it's going to kind of straighten everything out. So, or vice versa. If it's squatted in the back, it's going to make it worse. So you can get really caught up in the way your engine sits. What matters is the relationship between the engine and the drive shaft, U-joint operating angle or working angle, whatever you want to call it. So once you get that and you're good with the operating angle, here's what we're going to look at next. I think people get lost here. When we say down, we're talking with the drive shaft down at this angle, right? I think most people get that. It's down toward the rear of the car. If the drive shaft goes like this toward the rear of the car, that's up. Now your pinion is completely different. Your pinion needs to face down this way in the front. The front needs to face down. So it makes like a V. That's down on the drive shaft and this is down on your pinion. At that point, just adjust your pinion angle until you get a working angle that you're happy with, typically 1.5, 2.5, something like that. Whatever you need to do, I'm not going to tell you where to set it at. What you don't want is drive shaft down, pinion up. That's not a good angle because whenever you hit the car, it's going to rotate up, right? Let me show you a quick way to do this, all right? So here's what I want to show you guys, an easy way to do it. Draw it out, very simple, especially if you're not an artist like me. Engine, drive shaft, and this is the way I make my pinion. You see that? Very, very simple stuff. So let's just make up some numbers here real quick. Let's say that your engine is 5 degrees down, which means it's going to tilt toward the back. And let's say your drive shaft is, let's just say 1.7 down, and your rear end, your pinion, which now down is like this, right? So down is facing this way, 3 degrees down. Your rear end, your pinion is facing down. Your drive shaft is facing down at that V. So what you need to do is look at the difference between these two right here. So it's that simple. So the difference between those two is 1.3. What the hell is that? All right, so the difference between those is 1.3. Why do I keep... The difference between these two is 1.3. So that's going to be your pinion angle, right? But it's actually your working angle of the U-joints. And here's why I say that. Your pinion angle, if you put a gauge on it right now and you go under there and you measure it the way that it's sitting right now, could be 7, could be 1, could be any number, but it could be a 2.5 degree downward angle. You see how this gets confusing to people? What it is 2.5 degrees or 1.5 or whatever you're doing in relation to the drive shaft, the difference between these two. Here's the message I'm trying to convey to you guys. You set your car up on blocks like mine. You get one of these digital angle finders. Let me grab one. You get one of these. You zero it out and you stick it to the bottom of your pinion and it reads 2.5 on the ground. Unless your drive shaft is perfectly flat, which would be 0, then that is not a true 2.5. So here's what I want you guys that struggle with this to try to remember. It is the difference between the pinion being down and the drive shaft being down, okay? Most of us are gonna run into that situation and not this situation. That's not good. But here's the other thing. Ground is down. Remember that. So your pinion should be facing the ground. That's down. And your drive shaft should be facing the ground. That's down. If you remember, ground is down on both. That's the angle you need to be at. Then once you get them like this, you want to put whatever your number is. I'm not really going to tell you what to do here, but a degree and a half, or 2.5 degrees downward angle, so that when the car wraps up, you get a really good working angle. Also on top of that, and I know people are going to want to argue this, pinion angle doesn't make your car hook. It helps. It can help if your car's in a bind, right? If you got angles like this and this thing's wrapping up and it's putting everything in a bind, sure, because your drive shaft's going to speed up and slow down and it gets funky. Pinion angle doesn't make the car's hook. It allows the system to work smoothly so that your suspension components and your tires can make the car hook. These are facts. If you guys don't believe me, just go down in the comment section, look around. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, with that being said, this is the Calypso's new setup. We will get it out here pretty soon and go test on it. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching.
Before we go though, I do want to mention that improper pinion angle absolutely can cause bad vibrations. Also, it can cause universal joints to wear out extremely quick and break, meaning one trip down the road can cause your universal joint to snap, your drive shaft come out of your car, beat the floorboard to death. Ask me how I know. It can happen. Also, it puts extreme wear on the transmission, and it also puts wear on the rear end itself, gears, bearings, and things like that. Here's one thing that I left out in the video that I do want to mention as well. How do you achieve pinion angle? How do you adjust it? You're going to need adjustable upper control arms. The lowers have nothing to do with pinion angle. Double adjustable control arms are really nice for this because it allows you to just get under the car and adjust it without having to take the control arm off and adjust them. I understand this sounds confusing. In the racing world, typically, when people mention pinion angle, it is the working angle, the angle of the universal joint. Yes, you have a pinion angle, an angle of your pinion. You can get under the car and you can measure that right now, and it can be any kind of number it wants to be. And it won't matter. It's the relationship, the difference between those two. That's really hard to convey to people to understand, but this is where people start to get lost. It is not the physical angle and the number you get off of the bottom of the pumpkin, the rear end, the flange, or whatever you're measuring down there. It's not just that number. You have to subtract those two numbers between the drive shaft and the rear end to get that. Same thing with the front of the car as well. All right, I could go on and try my best to explain it, but I think I'm probably at this point just confusing more people. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope it helped you. If it did, sound off in the comment section below. Also, let us know how you adjust your pinion angle and your thoughts on it. Maybe you can explain it a little better than me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching.